Welcome to the AACFB's 2024 Meet the Funder webinar series. My name is Monica Harper. I'm the Executive Director of the AACFB, and I'll be your host. Our presenter today is John Boddigheimer with 4 Hour Funding. 4 Hour Funding is both a funding source member and a platinum sponsor of the AACFB, and I'd like to thank them for their support of the association. Before I introduce John, I'd like to go over a few items to make the webinar more enjoyable and informative for everyone. During the presentation, you should see a Q&A box that allows you to ask questions. If you have any questions during the presentation, please submit your questions in the box and they should be answered by the end of the webinar. The entire webinar should take no more than 30 to 45 minutes. And for those of you who would like to review this webinar at a later date, it will be posted on the 2024 Meet the Funder page of the website, and it will be emailed to the AACFB membership. At this time, I'll turn it over to John. It is all yours.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome from Dallas, Texas. I hope you people who are under the heat bubble are doing okay, but I do want to thank everyone for joining us today. First off, I want to stress that we all know there's a lot of, I want to address the elephant in the room. We know there's been a lot of rumors in the past week in terms of there was one funder that left the market here, at least temporarily. I do want to say that at Centra Funding, we're strongly capitalized. It's kind of in our DNA to really enjoy these time periods that are a little more challenging for a lot of companies. We actually got our start during 2008, one of the greatest financial challenges ever, and grew through that. In fact, many of you will remember during COVID, a lot of funders were backing away from the market. And one funder stood up and said, we'll take all the apps you can. That was ourselves. We actually, I think, doubled the size of our company in 18 months as a result of that. And true to that, we maintain the same stance today. We are actually being aggressive in what we're buying right now. We recently enhanced our credit matrix to be a true A to C lender. We are expanding our headcount. We're up to 72 people now. And on top of that, we're expanding our offices here in the Plano area, in our main campus here in Plano. And we've always provided timely funding through every important event and every downturn in our industry. So we do welcome you. If you've had some problems here and you are needing some help, please reach out to the reps. I'll post their numbers at the end of the conference here. And please call them to find out a little bit more about our company. First off, let me say this. We do believe we have one of the best monthly bonus programs. We do like brokers who do repeat business with us. Unlike a lot of funders, ours is a monthly bonus, so that if you have one bad month or 2 bad months, you can hop right back on and start receiving a bonus. And it's very easy metrics to hit. Over $125,000 gets a 1% bonus. Over $200,000 in funding gets a 2% monthly bonus. First off, a little bit about 4 Hour Funding. We're, of course, based in Plano, Texas, just north of Dallas. We were founded in 2008. Yes, I realize that was very bad timing to start a company in 2008, but it worked out okay. We do have 72 employees. We do EFAs only here. We don't do any lease transactions. On top of that, we work primarily the deal range from $5,000 to $200,000. We really don't work middle market. We do have a lot of people that do try to come to us to say, hey, can you work a $500,000 transaction for us? Unfortunately, we stay pretty adhered to our roots. So we are looking for A to C credits, primarily below $200,000. First, why do brokers choose 4 Hour Funding? Number one, we're a one-stop shop. You can take an A transaction and get an 8% rate from us, or you can do a startup in a restaurant. And yes, we'll handle everything along in between there also. We offer a high commission program. Like I mentioned previously, our bonus program, I think, is exceptional and better than any out there. On top of that, we're very customer-centric focused. You will find our reps here. They do more than just answer the phone and say hello. They actually routinely go out in the field and they're visiting you in your actual office and trying to learn more about your business. On top of that, you'll find that we have probably one of the more rare things now. Unfortunately, one of the parties that left here recently was one of the leading companies servicing newer businesses. But we do have an exceptional new business program. I'll explain a little bit more about that later. But you will find it is absolutely one of the industry leading and probably gets you some of the best rates for a new business. And on top of that, we do have the ability to discuss special situations. We do a lot of things such as franchise business. You'll find we can do. We have a lot of experience here at Centra, so as a result, we are able to look and understand a lot of transactions that some funders may not have the time for. First off, recent updates for Centra. I think it's late January, we did come out with a new A credit program. And we did also revamp a little bit our new business program to make it easier for you to determine what we buy. We, of course, maintained our favorite monthly bonus program. Everybody seems to love that. But the last two things I'm really excited about, we came up with a no prepayment penalty feature that you can purchase for certain contracts with our program. And on top of that, a no interim rent feature. So all these combined, I think, really gives a tremendous value in our space. Number one, these are our basic programs that we offer a broker. The A credit program, like I said, it does have rates as low as 8%. You can remove interim rent for a 50 basis point increase. So that's basically running a transaction at 8.5%. You could offer a no prepayment penalty contract for just a quarter point interest more. And that's a fantastic value out there. Our startup program, it runs for all transactions under 2 years in business. And yes, a lot of people ask, we do startup restaurants. I think we may be the last person in the industry still doing them right now. And so also you'll find that we have a 72-month financing program. So your harder assets over 50,000, you can actually get 72 months financing. We have the deferral programs that most of you will need, especially coming up. You know, we're entering a challenging zone in the economy right now. It sort of looks like we're starting to enter a recession. Deferral programs start to have a more prominent role in your marketing. So we do carry a 90-day deferral program, but we also have a 6-month step program that is also excellent for trying to lure customers to go ahead and sign now. On top of that, our program is an app only to $200,000 program, but we also have features in our program, such as the Thin to Win program, where if you get approved for a rate, you can get 100 basis points lower if you just lower your commission. It's very nice. I'll explain a little bit more about, I know a lot of you may have questions about the no prepayment payoff program that we have. It is a fantastic program, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And of course, we also have a medical and dental program. Basic requirements for us, it's very simple. 0 years, of course, we do under a new business program. Things over 2 go under our existing business program. We're a minimum 590 credit score. Now, before everybody gets all crazy and excited, you're not going to get 200,000 with a 590 credit score, but you may get a lesser amount. You may get 25,000. When you start working the lower ranges in credit score, obviously our appetite will fall a little bit. We do up to 72 months financing. We do require bank statements over 75,000. That is required. In fact, we cannot score a transaction over 75 grand unless we do have bank statements. But we do work in all 50 states, but there are some state limitations. Most notable ones for people are Massachusetts and Florida. The primary reason we have limitations in those 2 states is that they have usury limits. Because we do EFAs, we are subject to usury. So it does put us in a little different mode than a lot of places that offer lease transactions. You'll find that industry restrictions, we'll go over this a little bit more, but it's the ones that everybody pretty much is used to. Adult entertainment, day spa, marijuana, gaming, logging, movie production, real estate, trucking, and That's one of the reasons why I think we've probably been affected less by the transportation woes out there. We didn't have a very large trucking exposure. And we don't do vending. Now, we do have some semi-restricted industries. Fitness is restricted to 35,000 maximum. Restaurants are maximum $50,000 transaction. One other thing, we do have one transaction limit, and that is we don't do private party sales or sale leasebacks. First off, again, these are some of the industries that we do not work in. We mentioned some of them prior. Most notable ones on here are direct-to-garment printers we do not do. We don't do any kind of coffee equipment, believe it or not. We don't like cabins or buildings. We try to stay away from anything in the oil industry as long as it's involved in actual production. Oil services are fine in terms of it's a company servicing oil companies. You'll find any kind of remote equipment, coin op equipment that is unattended. We do not do kiosks. We don't do tow trucks, towing, logging. So as a result, as long as you're not working in these industries, we're more than open to any type of equipment. Again, some interesting things that we do. Some people don't know. We have a very good specialty in working drones. We actually do a reasonable amount of drones, but we like to keep them under $50,000. And they do require to have specialized drone insurance. We do HVAC equipment, but the customer does have to own the property, the business property. Excuse me, there is one interesting thing here that's on here. We don't do printing equipment anymore. I should mention that. This is an older slide. But we do rental equipment, software only, tanning equipment, used equipment, but we do have reduced terms for those. So if you are somebody, I know a big market out there is rental equipment for rental companies. We do those, but we tend to do them at a 36-month max term. Again, one of the big segments that exploded in the last 5 years has been laser equipment, especially in the aesthetic side. Yes, we do laser equipment still, but please be apprised, we are looking for a minimum 2 years in business if you're an MD, 3 years in business for non-licensed medical professionals, which may include physician's assistants, registered nurses, and there we're going to limit the laser transactions to 75,000 in those situations. And your non-medical professionals, such as tattoo parlors, beauty salons, we like to see smaller transactions in the laser market, 35K. Now, this is our new, one thing we did in the last year, actually the last few months, is we tried to come up with an open concept to where you could very easily see as a broker what we would buy. And we developed a very nice credit grid, credit matrix that you can follow. And if you follow this matrix very clearly, you can pretty much come out to what your final rate with us will be. I think it's pretty much tracking somewhere around 95% in terms of tracking exactly what it, if you work it out yourself, exactly what rate you'll get from Centra for our funding. And on that, we have broken out our transactions into two basic tiers, preferred and select. And a lot of that, it scales down by, of course, time in business, minimum credit score, and collateral type. All right. And we'll break down some of the collaterals we're looking there. But obviously, we are looking for a stronger quality business to get what's considered really bank quality cost of funds, which is 8%. 8% when you look at it, that's almost what a mortgage is right now. So obviously, a customer does have to be a near bankable credit at that point. Now, some of the interesting aspects of our program are we do look at bank deposit activity when we're looking at bank statements. We do break these out. If you look there, it actually breaks out what we need for every specific tier in terms of deposit activity. It also breaks out what balances we're tending to look for. Now, the interesting thing about how we work is, while something may grade out, if everything grades out along in one column and one thing grades over to the right, and say, for example, you're looking at a 1B transaction, and they're 6 years in business, they got 700 credit scores, they're working good collateral, the bank statements fit everything, it's going to be a 1B rate. But say, for example, they didn't have any pay net, that may go to a 2A rate at that point. So in other words, as far right as you go when you're checking off the boxes, that's where your rate will be. However, we do keep a couple things in there. And by the way, this is our preferred collateral. I try to remind everybody our preferred collateral is not hard collateral. It's just all the collateral we've had very good credit experience with. So you'll even find things such as veterinarian equipment, woodworking equipment, x-rays. You'll find roof and paneling machines, compressors, but you'll also find some things like jetters, plumbing jetters, that you wouldn't normally find in people's collateral lists, preferred collateral lists. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier. We have unique little features called tier bumps. Say everything is grading out a transaction, say at a 10 yield, a 1B rate with us. If your customer owns, or excuse me, let's say it's a 2B rate, and he was going to get 15 yield. If he owns his business real estate, and you can either ask him that, if he let us know that, we'll research it. Usually we're researching it anyway. If we see the customer owns his business real estate, he'll get a 300 basis point drop in rates. So if he was going to get a 15 rate, he'll drop all the way down to a 12% rate. So just one of these bump rate factors, either it's business real estate he owns, or it's in this preferred collateral list that you see here, or if he's over 10 years time in business, he is going to get a 300 basis point drop in his rate. So this is an excellent feature. It's been highly applauded from a lot of the brokers we've worked with. And I think you'll find that you as a broker can actually intercept these qualities when you're actually vetting your transactions. You can ask your customers, do you own your real estate? You know, what kind of collateral you're getting. If it's hitting the mark, one of these types of collateral, or if he's over 10 years in business, or if he owns his business real estate, you're going to get a really good transactional rate from this. Next thing, for when you get your rate, we have a list of special features. We believe over time that you have the ability to kind of craft exactly the kind of contract the customer wants. And that means that, first off, anybody that's falling in our preferred category automatically gets zero advance payment. So even if it's a $150,000 transaction, it'll be $0 to start your contract. You can waive interim rent with us 2 different ways. For anything in the preferred category, all you have to do is accept 50 basis point increase. So if it was going at a 8% contract, you can do it for 8.5. You can get rid of interim rent. For anything in the select tiers, you can do it with a 10% first payment. You get rid of it also. Again, the doc fee is on $149 for anything in our preferred category. It does rise for anything in the select category. Also, as I mentioned, we have the no prepayment penalty contract. It's a fabulous buy. It's only 25 basis points. That's probably less than a quarter of a point in terms of, if you're charging 10 points, it's probably it means you really are only making 9.75 points on your transaction. Yeah, let me say this about this product. This product is a fantastic product because if you're in competition on some of these better credits, the 1A and 1B transactions, when you all of a sudden can go to the customer and tell them, hey, after you're done with halfway through your contract, you can get out for principal balance. Boom, you've won it if you're in competition against somebody else. Because somebody else probably doesn't have that very simplistic buyout feature. So like I mentioned, the way it works with us, you basically craft your own contracts. And when you end up looking at your rates, you'll be able to build either I want to do it with no prepay, or I want to do it with no interim, or I want to do it with no interim and no prepay. It's really up to you to build the contract you want. Now, here's a little bit more about this no prepayment penalty contract. Ours is unique in that most people will tell you that, or they'll try to say something, or it's some kind of quasi present value or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's all these crazy ways to do uh, uh, prepayments where someone's paying off early. With Centra, it's real easy. It'll be principal balance on this. And the nice thing is on our contract, on your customer's actual contract, there's a separate sheet where it details out each and every month what his payoff is. So as a result, you're selling it there. And not only that, he's seeing it at the close. And that's a really powerful thing when your competition rolls in there and all it's got is some crazy formula on how you figure it out. Now let me talk about, I think, one of the greatest reasons to use Centra is we have, I believe, one of the industry best new business programs out there. We offer probably the lowest rates you can find on new businesses. On top of that, some new businesses can get rates that are as good as existing businesses. For example, our new business program is very much predicated on what kind of collateral you're getting. If you're getting some collateral like machine tools, cranes, dump trucks, pizza ovens, believe it or not, fall in this category, septic tank trucks, stump grinders, or anything associated with a licensed tradesman, you can get rates for startups as low as 15% yield, which is probably half, or at least, what the best rate out there is for these people normally. On top of that, we do offer reduced rates for even our tier 3A is for balers, beauty salon equipment, construction equipment of all type, dozers, directional drills, you name it. All those can be done at 18 yield. Um, uh, Again, we are using the same open format where you can actually run down our credit guidelines and see what your customer can qualify for. Extremely easy to do. And yes, we do maintain a tier bump if your customer owns business real estate. So if you have a new operation where the customer owns real estate, even be, for example, a restaurant. Guy's opening a brand new restaurant. Boom. While you would have been tier 5 on startup restaurants, you immediately drop down 500 basis points. That's 5 full%, simply because he owns the restaurant location. And I will say this, you'd be surprised how many of your customers, we found about 10 or 15% of your customers actually own their physical location. All right, doc fee schedules. This is how we break everything out, our various costs, site inspections, power of attorney fees if we're doing title vehicles. By the way, yes, we do title vehicles, but we don't do trucks. Anything in the trucking industry, we don't do. So even a trucker who wants to get, say, a truck scale, we don't do that. The other nice thing about Centra is you as a broker, if you have your cell phone, you can have your complete business right there. You'll find that our Hourglass mobile app breaks down for you what your monthly bonus status is, how much you have in funding. You can see your DocuSign status. As documents are sent out by a DocuSign, you're going to find that you can actually look up through Hourglass and see if your customer signed the documents, who signed it, if they viewed it, etc. All that information is inside Hourglass. You can actually see who's actually working on your transaction. If you send a transaction into us, you can see what credit rep has it checked out at that time. And I would ask you guys, if you want, you can request your Hourglass online portal. It is for Centra brokers only, but if you are a Centra broker and have not gotten it, I would recommend going ahead and hitting the little QR right there, QR code, and you can download it and then contact our IT department about getting connected to it. First off, I believe we have really 3 of the best broker reps in the business. They're all extremely experienced. We have Kennedy Gilbertson in the West. We have Alan Justman in the Central and Tom Haflett in the East. Every one of these guys has over a decade experience. So it's not like you have some newbie rep put on your trail. These guys know exactly what they're doing. They know our credit box, and they can usually help you or tell you where you can potentially go for help. Last thing I want to mention to everybody, we'll be at the just down the way for us in New Orleans or New Orleans, as people like to say, we do ask that you please come on by, try to contact your broker rep ahead of time if you're a Centra broker. We do like to take people out to dinner. We want to know, I think unlike a lot of our competition, we're a little different in that we spend a lot of time to get to know our brokers. We like getting them to know them. We love going out to see you in your location. But when we go to an event like this, we like taking everybody out to dinner. We want to know you guys. We found that we operate better when you can call up anybody in our company, and that works true. Most people that know me will tell you, even though you're a broker with us, I have brokers contact me all the time. Even though I'm president, I pick up the phone and I will talk to them. That's the unique thing about Centra. We keep pretty much an open door policy. A lot of our credit, we call them credit reviewers, the people actually making credit decisions on your transactions. It's not uncommon for them to actually talk to those people here. Okay, Monica?
All right. Just as a reminder, if you have a question, please put it in the Q&A box and we'll get that answered for you. We have 3 to start with. So do you take the doctor's MD license issuance as the doctor's TIB, or does it need to be the borrowing company's actual TIB?
We'll take that on everything but laser paper. If it's, as long as it's equipment that is general medical equipment, the MD, we will take his license as TIB, time in business. However, if it's aesthetic equipment and not reimbursable by most insurance policies, you're going to find on that equipment, we will want time in business at least to be 3 years of business.
I'm
Or
seeing
2 years of business, excuse me, 2 years of business.
Great. I'm seeing GPS install as a stipulation. Can you talk about the qualification conditions that add that stipulation?
We do use, and actually the provider we use right now is Pastime GPS. Generally, you're going to see that requirement show up on either new businesses. We see new businesses and vehicles on food trucks and things like that. You're going to find we are not requiring it when they are at least 3 years in business or more.
Right. Also, vendor pre-funding has been a gray area when a GPS install is involved. My vendor won't order equipment that needs to be built without being funded.
I would recommend in that situation, as long as it's built ahead of time, we can actually go out there before the customer receives it. We can even go out maybe when he's like 3/4 of the way complete with the installation. I think what you're talking about is when somebody's maybe doing a food truck. So that's what it really sounds like. Because then you have a lot of situations where the food truck, we pre-fund part of it or we pre-fund the entire amount, but at some point, we have to have the GPS unit put in the vehicle. So in a situation where we require GPS, we're going to have to install that GPS really right at funding time.
Okay. Regarding real estate ownership,
Yes.
it doesn't say anything else. Can another
Okay, I'll talk a little bit about this. It's real frequent for your customers to maybe own the real estate in a separate corporation. That's okay. We see that frequently, and what we'll do is we'll just do a cross corporate guarantee with that special purpose real estate corporation. And then at that point, that's really all we need at that point.
Okay. And I think this might be part of that. Can another piece of RE work?
No, it's got to be the real estate we're working with and the real estate used for the business. Just because they have another empty parcel somewhere else, that's not of value to us. Our primary reason for giving a discount for this is when a customer owns the business real estate that the business is located at, it's very hard for him to close it down because it's not like he can just hand the landlord the keys. He is the landlord. So, that one barrier is what makes us more agreeable to give them a lower rate.
This was just a clarification on the previous GPS one. It's for tank trailers built in Ohio and shipped to another state.
Tank trailers. It varies in that tank trailers for trucking. No, we're not interested. Now, we have done some things like asphalt trailers used in construction that we would be willing to do.
Okay. All right. I'm not seeing any other questions. Oh, here we go. This is John. Everything you said about your team is true. They're amazing to work with. I can also attest to your hands-on involvement in the decision making. Thank you for all you do. And yes, asphalt trailers.
Okay, glad I got that one right.
So you can pay Cliff for that comment. Also from Paul, thank you for your time today. I'll be in Dallas for the next 3 days with my two sons, and perhaps we can stop by to say hello.
Please do, please do. That's one other thing I want to mention. And in fact, we're real proud of our company here. We started very small at one point. At one point, we were the smallest tenant in the building. Now we're the largest by far. And we do love visitors. I recommend to everybody, if you ever have a chance, if you're ever in Dallas, everybody does layovers, stay over one night. We'll take you to a game or take you to dinner. You get to introduce you to everybody. It will do wonders for your business. And we're strong believers of it. In fact, I think we have a visitor coming in tomorrow, and we'll be taking her out to dinner. And I think what you would get out of it is way more than what you had to pay just for the flight down here. It is a fantastic experience to meet all the people that you have to rely on to get your transaction funded.
Great. I think that is all of the questions.
All right. All right. Can you mind if I say something in final here?
Sure.
I want to thank everybody. Like I said, the industry, our industry is going through a little bit of change right now. It's getting acclimated to higher interest rates, and when you throw in recession coming in, higher losses, there's going to be a lot of dislocation coming up in the next few months. And I do want everybody to realize that it is very much in our DNA to always want to expand during these time periods. It's how we've done it almost always in the past. Most of our growth has usually been during downturns. And we actually view these time periods as also real good for you as brokers. I've told everybody that right now is the best time to be a broker, because if you're trying to build your business, vendors are more likely going to pick up their phone and talk to you right now. And it's great to see people break into new industries, new segments, and you'll find that we'll try to help you every bit along the way. The fact that we're a full spectrum lender makes it a lot easier for us to do that.
Great. That's good to hear a positive spin on things. All right. Well, with that, I'll wrap things up. I want to say a big thanks to all our participants, and especially our valued funding source member and platinum sponsor for our funding. Thanks for a great job, John. And we invite everyone again to meet with 4-Hour Funding in person at our Commercial Financing Expo coming up this September in New Orleans. It's going to be a great time and a great show. Thanks again, and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.